Gurmaigad Yaskan Korya agus a Hanishta Hospital Niliani, Tellu Mulya, Tellu Arigid, Hul Shrew agus and Realtis in the Galu, Lilinian Shaw, Eligig Chichimama. Tanisha today or many years ago when Leo Varadkar was actually Minister for Health, he said, short of an asteroid hitting the planet, the National Children's Hospital would be built by 2020. Well, today we've learned that the fiasco continues in relation to the building of the National Children's Hospital as it spirals further out of control. The board overseeing the project has told the Public Accounts Committee that the contractor has pushed out the completion date yet again for the hospital, this time to February 2025. And you know, Taoiseach, that after that date there's another 9 months to commission the hospital before it's ready to open and take in patients. The Chief Officer of the board has told the committee that he can't even guarantee that that date will be met in the first instance. It is an absolute farce. And what have we learned today? We've learned that costs continue to spiral for the taxpayer, that no certainty when the hospital will be ready to treat patients, and promises that your government have given have been broken. And the safe bet now is that the hospital will not be open to patients until 2026. And Taoiseach, in the middle of all of this here, under your government's watch, there are 100,000 children languishing on waiting lists. On your government's watch, there are 251 children with scoliosis who are waiting for life-threatening, life-altering operations. It was to them that the now Taoiseach Simon Harris cynically gave that promise that he's broken over and over again, that none of them would have to wait more than 4 months for their life-changing treatment. A broken promise. And they need that hospital more than anyone. They need that hospital built. Taoiseach, the initial cost of this hospital was supposed to be €650 million. And now we learn that the cost has increased to more than €2.2 billion. And the board today, I don't know if you've seen it, the board actually couldn't guarantee that it wouldn't go higher. This is crazy stuff, Taoiseach. The government has lost all control in relation to the cost and the delivery of this project, and it is any wonder because your minister in your government is asleep at the wheel. This has been a slow-moving car crash from day one, and it is the Minister for Health and his predecessors who have been asleep at the wheel. Taoiseach, we've raised this issue over and over again. The last time I raised this with Taoiseach Leo Varadkar last year, he dismissed our concerns. When we warned that the project was a runaway train, that it required the minister to roll up his sleeves to get duck in, to take a hands-on approach, he dismissed our concerns. He told me that the hospital would be treating patients this year. Another broken promise. The public, the taxpayer, the children waiting for this hospital cannot believe a word that comes from government when it comes to the National Children's Hospital, because every single target, every single financial cost has been broken, has been surpassed. And in any other walk of life, people would be held to account. But there's nobody being held to account. The board told the PAC earlier on that not one penalty has been lodged against the contractor because of the delays. Not one person is being held to account for this fiasco. Billions of euro of taxpayers' money being squandered in relation to the overruns in a hospital that is badly needed, and delay after delay after delay. And who's ultimately accountable for this failure? Taoiseach, I put it to you that your government that the person sitting beside you, the Minister for Health, who's completely asleep at the wheel, is accountable for this. Not once did he meet the board at all last year. Billions of euro, additional cheques being run, new dates after new dates, delay after delay, the board not even able to say if it'll open in 2025, and the Minister didn't meet the board once last year. That's how incompetent this government is. So can I ask you, Taoiseach, will your government and will your minister accept responsibility for the fiasco that is the National Children's Hospital? And will you commit that the government will take action, that the minister with responsibility will address this fiasco for once and for all?
Taoiseach to respond.
Ní an tíim leis an tara agus an rud is táchtaí nó go mé méid an hospital seo chríochnú agus go háirithe dáileáil go leidir le ban agus na dátaí atá gud agus gachrod go banúsach tá bam freigrach as cruthún an ospedéal seo. Agus tá dain séar ann thachta dála go bhfuil tusa ag gar goint beidir nach bhfuil séar inta na gut ach go bhfuil tú ag gar goint a bharr ban. What I'm going to say to you, Deputy, that you need to be very careful in the sense that you're not being used as a pawn in terms of a very strong and robust engagement between the National Paediatric Development Hospital Development Board, the government, and BAM. Because all the deadlines that you came through with there are deadlines that BAM set. And it's likely to be part of a commercial strategy by BAM to try and extract more funding and more money from the Irish people. Now, I put it to you very directly that I'm not going to take the bait. And I would suggest you don't take the bait either. And for the last number of years, there's been a very robust engagement through dispute resolute mechanisms. And you will cite hundreds of millions that have been submitted in respective claims. But when you actually look at the net outcome of those claims, it's a fraction of the overall cost of the hospital. In other words, there has been a very robust, tenacious engagement between the contractor, the company in this case, the development board, through the various arbitration methods. And that, unfortunately, the bottom line is BAM has not resourced this project sufficiently for quite some time. And the only way, and I would call on BAM to resource the site adequately and comprehensively to enable this hospital to be completed as fast as we possibly can. And the government is fair and is dealing with this in a fair manner, but we're not going to say finish this at any cost or throw to one side proper procedural approaches as to how claim and counterclaim gets resolved and how contracts get enforced. And I think that's an important point. All of those deadlines these have all been submitted by BAM at different times. Now, I'm not sure whether you're saying we should go straight into the High Court or the Supreme Court and suspend all work on the project. I don't know if that's your suggestion to government. Our objective is to get the hospital completed as quickly as we possibly can. BAM has submitted about 2,782 claims, of which 2,182 have been substantiated at a value of approximately 785 million. And that's the value assigned by BAM. I hastily add. Approximately 1,890 of those claims had been determined by the ER, with the net result being an increase to the contract sum of approximately 22.8 million. So in respect of BAM submitting by the Ornicon 785, we've arbitrated every one of them. That takes time, tenacity, but that's how we're doing it. And we're going to, in the first instance, make sure the taxpayer gets value for money, but we also want the hospital completed as we possibly can, as quickly as we possibly can. And we're not going to roll over into contractual engagements with BAM, as you seem to be suggesting that we do. And this hospital is urgently required for the children of Ireland. It will be transformative compared to what we currently have in Crumlin or Temple Street. Of that, there is no doubt. And there has been, significant advancements on the project. Of that, there is no doubt. And I think you didn't, quote the comments from the chair of the board in respect of what has been, of the current update in terms of, all the tower cranes have been removed from the site and so on.
Those words really came out of your mouth, that your government is determined that the taxpayer will get value for money in terms of the National Children's Hospital. Are you serious? It's gone from 650 million up to 2.2 billion, and the chair of the board can't guarantee that it won't go higher. If you want an example of government incompetence, then look no further than the National Children's Hospital. Cost blooming, taxpayer paying the bill, delay after delay after delay, every single target missed, and we have a minister over there that didn't meet with the board once last year. Not once last year, because he's asleep at the wheel. He thinks it's somebody else's problem. But the cheques keep on getting written and children keep on getting denied the hospital that they deserve. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You are completely asleep at the wheel. I'll ask you a very simple question. Because the board can't guarantee this, will that hospital start treating patients before 2016? That's because the Taoiseach stood there last year and he started saying you were being used as a pawn and all of the rest, when we were saying you needed to take a hard approach with the contractor, that the minister needed to get involved in this here, that the government needed to use their muscle, and they said no, everything's fine. They said patients would be treated this year. Patients aren't going to be treated this year. The target is moved again. The board can't guarantee the target, and the likelihood is no patient will be treated in that hospital by 2016.
2026%.
2026, sorry.
You raised an issue, remember, on the ventilation grills, and your claims tens of millions would be required. subsequently turned out not to be the case. And the point I would make to you is this. Inadvertently, or whether it's your intention or not, you're a pawn now of, in my view, of where the contractor wants this to go. That's what's going on here. The contractor has been delaying, has not been resourcing the project properly or comprehensively, is hoping there will be this kind of a engagement in Dáil Éireann to keep pressure on the government and the politicians to yield a bit quicker, give us a bit more in terms of the claims that we've made. And you're playing that game, Deputy. And all the timelines have been BAM timelines. They're not, I'm through the chair, they're not government timelines, they're BAM timelines now. In respect of the October, deadline, through the chair, that's a BAM deadline. And all of, even this morning, what the chair is saying, BAM are indicating, you said it yourself, BAM are indicating. So I think the Oireachtas should back the government in being resolute on this issue with the contractor,
Thank you,
and not fall for the game that's being played in terms of commercial strategy.
Thank you. I'm moving on. Deputy Doherty.
One up in your research office, right?
Can we show? Can we move on? I'm moving on, please. With respect, can we listen to each other?